Good morning, everyone. I'm Ankita Thakur, and today I will be discussing the analysis of Sagatec Software's communication problem. So, let's get started. Sagatec Software was highly reputed for its high quality and user friendly database. It was a software development company, and Sagatec Software was the first one to enter into the field of office automation. So, what is office automation? Office automation is when we manage and keep or we share the information, and later on, that information is used for carrying out the manual tasks. So the programs made by this software development company was used by various businesses and industries. Uh, then there was a time when the company decided to enter into the word processing market. So what is word processing? It is when we give input to a word processor and then we get an output through output machine. So it was a first time for the company. It was a new product, so of course it was the first time for its customers as well. So they had to be very sure that the product which they give to the customers should be can be easily operated, and the customers face no difficulty in operating that product. So the case highlights and assumptions. Engineers designed this effective and powerful word processing program, and they created a thorough manual to for the customers, which was very accurate. But turned out that the manual was complicated for the customers, and maybe because the manual was very massive, very elaborative, and the language used was technical, so that's why the customers found it very difficult to understand, and it was not in accordance with the level of understanding of the audience. So eventually, the customers, the workers in the journals criticized the program, and as the result of this, the company had to redo the manual, and which costed it $350,000, and the reputation of the company had a great fall in the marketplace. So, what were the elements of the communication in this case? The elements of the communication, according to me, the center was the Sagatec software, the audience was the office workers and the potential customers. The message was the instruction manual for the word processing program, and the channel was just the one way flow of written instructions. And the purpose was to educate and guide the users for the operation of the program. The purpose was very clear that they wanted to train their customers. They wanted to make sure that the customers may faced no difficulty in understanding that manual and operating the product, but which unfortunately did not turn good. So what was the problem in this communication that took place? That it did not fulfill the purpose of the message. According to me, the communication errors in this case were as follows. Communication was one way only, so they could not judge the response of the customers. They could not they could not get a feedback what customers want actually in that manual, what they would suggest. They could not receive that. They did not consider the main element of the communication, which was feedback. There were no feedback sessions done, there was no testing done in this case, and they did not consider the level of understanding of the audience. They just created a manual which was thorough and which was very massive, and of course the manual was technical so that it could not fulfill the demands of the customers. The message was very complex and it was not simple, and they did not provide any training or video tutorial sessions. I think that in a case like this, if other than a manual, if they would have also given a 5-minute video sessions, video tutorial, so that would be very helpful. It would help the people of all the age groups, the people of any culture. They could just watch the video and they could operate that program very easily. So, according to me, these were the communication errors in this case study. So, what were the consequences of this poor communication? Of course, the financial loss occurred to the company as I discussed before, but greater than that is the trust and bond with the customers. The company lost that trust and bond, they lost their customers. The reputation of company was uh, got degraded, and they have to redo the manual, so it costed them time, and there was a delay in the delivery of the product. These were the consequences of this communication. So the suggestions, we have learned in our class, and our professor taught us that if we follow these suggestions, then we could be a good project manager, we could be a successful project manager, and the communication what we do will always be fruitful, and we would never lag in that communication. So, first is that the message must follow the 5 C's of the communication. It must be clear, concise, coherent, controlling, and correct. And the proper video tutorials must be given, as I discussed before. There must be proper feedback and testing done. If they had done some testing on a group of customers, so they could get a feedback what the customers suggest, what they want with that manual, what changes they could recommend, and they would have done their changes, and this would have not created this problem. um, the message must fulfill all the functions of the communication. We have learned in our class that the functions of communication should be fulfilled when we deliver the message, which I will discuss in the last slide from our presentation. The sender must never make assumptions regarding the audience, which happened in this case. The sender made the assumption that the audience will understand this their language, and it is very coherent with the understanding of their customers. Mm. The second one is that the message must fulfill its intent. The purpose of the communication must be fulfilled in the message, which was not done in this case. The message must be in different languages. As we know that in this case, the customers would belong to various cultures, and there was a vast diversity of the customers. So in this case, the message would have been, if it would have been different languages, if the message could be in accordance with the different age groups, then it would cover it would take into account the large group of customers. And an application must be developed for answering the queries of the customers, if and so that the customers could post a question, and then the company or the engineers could just answer their queries, and this could resolve the issue. And what are the benefits of implementing the above strategies? It increase the customer satisfaction, avoid misunderstandings, and fulfill the purpose of the message, enhance inclusive communication, and feedback allows the senders to resolve all the queries of the customers. I think that the benefits of the above strategies is that the communication will be fruitful, and the customer will get satisfied at the end, which is our priority, every project manager's priority. So this is the chart from the class notes. This is the chart from week 3 presentation in slide number 22. It states that if all the functions of the communication elements and communication types are taken into consideration, and then they are taken into a joint effect, then it will always result in an effective communication. It is that getting the right information to the right people in a right format and at the right time. This is the main purpose of the communication. And I think if we follow this, chart, and if we follow all the suggestions as suggested by professor, we will be a good successful project manager. Thank you so much.